Oh my god. Can you hear me now? Oh my god. That's why. Hang on 1 second. Yeah. Oh my god. This whole time I've had my mic in the wrong audio setting, and that's why my audio wasn't working. That's whoops. I knew something was off. I didn't even notice that there was one movie. I this whole time. And I talked so much. I've been live for half an hour. Oh no. Oh no. I thought it was just because I had my mic muted. That's a yikes. Um, no, you're so good, C. No worries. Uh, I'm, I'm gonna go back to the beginning of this so that I can actually give my jokes. Hang on. And also, I want to make sure I actually have an audible, like, preface to this. Oh my god. I can't believe myself. You know what? It's on brand. It's cause I had my audio set to voice mod, and voice mod is not working for me for some reason. I made the mistake of closing it, is probably it. And voice mod does not like slay, thank you, C. Here we go. I'm gonna set that back to. Here we go. Alright. I'm gonna have to do this all again. But you know what? I'm having a good time, and this is funny as shit. Alright. Um. Alright. Brace yourselves, people. Alright. Hang on. I'm gonna turn down the Spotify just so I can focus a little bit. Alright. Are you prepared? Are you? Oh, wait. It's my Spotify. My bad. Are you? Are you? Brace yourself, because Pippin is weird as shit. Alright. Quick preface. This run through is meant to be is not meant to be a substitute for a full viewing of the play. This is primarily meant for comedy purposes. Because I am abridging / speeding through, I will miss some things. For real though, Pippin is a pretty damn cool show, and you should listen to either of the available cast albums, or just go support like a live version of the show if you have the means to go see it. Support live theater. Anyway, Pippin is a very weird show. Who made it? Steven Schwartz. This guy made Wicked. Also, I'm turning the laser pointing back on. There we go. Bob fucking Fosse. Theater God. This man saved this show. Because, quite honestly, like, I'm in a production of it right now. So I'm learning music and everything. I'm in the ensemble. And I was talking with the director the other day, because he was, like, doing little one-on-ones to figure out, which ensemble member got what parts. And he was telling me how a friend of his found, like, an old recording of this show, like, like, they're old, like, I think potentially before Fosse got involved. And essentially, initially he wasn't gonna do it because it was so bad, and his wife convinced him to do it, and that's how we have the Pippin we have today. But yeah, Bob Fosse, theater god. I don't think I need to explain anymore. Roger O'Herson. He made another show that I've never heard of. He literally Pippin is the only thing of note that comes up when you look him up. Sorry, Roger. So there are two ways I've seen the show start. Hands. Or circus. The show is very Cirque du Soleil. At least this production was very, like, it was like Cirque du Soleil Broadway. I don't know. It was very interesting, at least from what I know of it. And there's also another, what's the word? There's another revival that went out in the, yeah, the hands are really cool. Like, honestly, like, seeing this kind of visual, like, I feel like you could tell this is, like, very 70s. It's just very trippy. Like you can tell this show is from the 70s, especially from like the instrumentation. The more recent revival kind of is more of a mix of the feels more like a mix of the two. Now that I'm really thinking about it, it's very like bright, flashy colors, or just very bright colors, but also very more hippie leaning, less circus, which is really cool. But yeah, Act One. Insert menacing synth. But wait, there's more. Followed by menacing oohs. Meet the players. They sing Magic to Do, which is our opening number. Oh, no! Nightbot, don't do that. How do I get Nightbot to not do that? I need to fix Nightbot. I will do that later. Nightbot's being rude. But anyway, they sing Magic to Do. They are kind of a depends on the interpretation, but they are a some kind of performing group. They got some snappy dance moves too, and they are led by the leading player, who, fun fact, in the original production was played by a man. However, when it went to the revival, original production was Ben Vereen, uh, and the revival production, which is where this image is from, the leading player is played by Patina Miller. So now the leading player is kind of more either way, like it isn't very like set, which I think is really cool. I love theater where you can kind of fuck around with gender and like it's so cool. Gender is so weird and so funky. And it's cool when you have roles that can kind of like go either way. But yeah. So what are they here to do? They are here to put on Pippin, his life and times. Pippin is an actual historical figure from what I understand, around Crusades ish era. Uh, but honestly, historical accuracy isn't necessarily the most important part of this show. But yeah, they're putting on Pippin, his life and times. Ta-da! uh, they they kind of go on to explain like how Pippin's story is inconsistently told, and they want to kind of just give it to you straight. The penguin. But also, they got a guy with fire. Now, he keeps coming on too early. He's very excited about his role, but we'll find out what his dealio is later. Right? Oh, I sent him away. Go back. Meet Pippin. Pippin is our leading man, and in the context of this show, it's his first day on the job. It's in context of the player playing Pippin. It's technically his first performance ever in the role. So we gotta be nice. Yeah, no worries, see. I'm gonna keep going. Anyway, Pippin, it's his first day on the job. He's just a little guy, he's just a little baby boy. But he's Pippin the character is graduating from a school in Padua where he's named Scholar of the House. And then Pippin sings Corner of the Sky, which is the most tenory tenor song that ever tenored. But essentially it's his I Want song. I Want song time. I don't if you wanna know if you don't know what an I Want song is, go watch a Sideways video or something. Plug Sideways. Sideways is based as hell. I love his show. Love his YouTube videos on music and theory and things. But I Want song Pippin talks about how he wants to live a life that's fulfilling, wants to live a life where he makes the most of himself and yo, welcome to the Kippy Gang Potato! I just realized I think this is blocking the alert, but that's okay. Thank you for the follow. But yeah, yeah, Pippin talks about like he wants freedom. He wants to live a fulfilling life. And he decides, after graduating, to go back home. And so he does that. And he goes back home to his father, King Charlemagne, and Pippin returns home and harasses his shitty king dad into letting him go to war. Uh, his father is King Charlemagne, king of the... Yes, part of the Kippy gang. We were. I'm, I'm just using that as a filler to get me back on track. Um, yeah, he comes home and he meets his father Charlemagne, who does not want to give him the time of day because he's too busy being a tyrant. But don't worry, we'll address that later. We meet. Obviously, we meet Charlemagne. We get an idea of Pippin's relationship with him. We meet Pippin's stepbrother Louis, who Charlemagne quite literally calls an asshole later in the show, which I think is one of the best lines. And we also meet Pippin's stepmom, Fastrada, who totally isn't a gold digger and isn't manipulating Charlemagne in any way, shape, or form. I don't address them much here because, to be honest, I feel like they don't add much to the show. Like, they kind of do, but kind of not. You get me? I just feel like they just don't like if you got rid of them, you wouldn't miss much in the narrative. Anyway, uh Charlemagne half-heartedly agrees to let Pippin go to war, and so we get two songs in relation to that. We get the planning phase that's covered by War is a Science, in which King Charlemagne is talking to Pippin and the troops about his plans for the upcoming battle and how he's basically going to sacrifice a shit ton of soldiers in order to win. And Pippin repeatedly interrupts him because he's so excited about going to war. And eventually, they do go to war, and that is covered by the song Glory. Oh. Whoa, what? Hang on, what just happened? Hang on 1 second. Sorry about that. I don't know why. Yeah. I don't know why Nightbot is being. Hang on. I want to make sure that Nightbot isn't, like, overdoing this. It is. Alright. I think I fixed that for now. If you're still here, I'm so sorry about that, see? Like, Nightbot got a little overzealous there. I will. That's weird. Alright. We're back where we left off. We have the song Glory, which is essentially where the Holy Roman Empire is going to war against the Visigoths and violently showing them the way to Christianity. But yeah, essentially, this song especially is the leading player kind of singing about the really cool parts of war and talking about just very descriptive metaphor, like talking about steel, talking about blood, and they have a fun little like silly dance in the middle while their like violent acts are being committed. But yeah, they get through there and they're fighting. They gotta take out the Visigoths. But do they survive? Of course they do. We're only like 20 minutes into this. And Pippin ends up talking to the severed head of a Visigoth who died in the battle. And they kind of talk about like what it's like to be in battle. What does it feel like, success or failure? Whether or not they feel like they will like move on to the whatever good part of the afterlife for either of them. And kind of after that conversation, Pippin gets to thinking. And Pippin doesn't like war, so he runs away to his grandma. Meet Bertha, Pippin's awesome grandma. She tells him he looks like shit and that he needs sex. Literally, she almost immediately, when Pippin arrives, is like, all right, yeah, hello, Loren, welcome. Bing bong, your shins are gone. Essentially, almost immediately after Pippin arrives and talks to Bertha, she's like, so spill the tea. What's going on at the castle? Are you getting any hanky panky? Quite literally. Quite literally the words out of her mouth. And Pippin tells her how he's struggling to find kind of meaning and like success in his life. And Bertha sings the song that people really like from the show, No Time at All, where she just talks about like, go live life, find a lover, like just enjoy yourself. And so Pippin does that. Pippin has sex. And then Pippin has more sex. More sex. Sex. Oh my fucking god. This show is really horny. I as we were doing the read through, I took note of a couple stage directions that are quite explicit. One of them being he reaches for a fruit and spots a girl with grapes in her hands hanging from her badonkers. And then the dance becomes increasingly more wah wah wee wah. All the boys and girls become involved and they begin to show Pippin every possible form of activity. Pippin's enthusiasm slowly begins to flag, and by the end of the dance, he is exhausted and repelled. There is a 7.5 minute long number of Pippin doing implied sex things with a lot of people. Pippin and the audience are tired of sex. Anyway, after that, Pippin goes on and wonders, what am I supposed to do next? Where am I supposed to go? And then leading player comes up to him with a newspaper that's basically saying, hey yo, King Charlemagne's kind of a dick. Hi, Tetramino. Yeah, the show has a lot of sex, and now they're done with it for now. But the leading player gives Pippin a newspaper that says King Charlemagne, his dad, is not happy, or not happy. Not that he's not happy. Is being a tyrant and like using military force on a like a rebellion of the people. And Pippin's like, you know what? Someone's got to do something about it. And the leading player's like, yeah, you got to do something about it. Like someone's got to do something about it. And Pippin's like, yeah, I got to do something about it. And she's like, yeah, you got to do something about it. And then he decides he's going to commit murder. He goes and decides to kill his father. And then Fastrada just happens to set things up where Pippin knows where he's going to be the perfect spot to commit murder. Because she figures that, oh, if Pippin kills the king, then he'll just get arrested or something, and then Lewis will become king. But then she also realizes, like, oh, if Pippin fails and the king doesn't die, then, well, Pippin will be out of the way, and then Lewis will just be the next king. you would think. Anyway, Pippin stabs his daddy-o. There are no legal repercussions for this. None whatsoever. After he has killed his dad, Pippin is surrounded by all the people who yell his name and are excited about him being king, and they sing Morning Glow. And Pippin's like, this kingdom has suffered in tyranny for too long. I am the light of the morning. I am the light in the fridge for all those who cry out in hunger. And then He-Man is our king now. And also, the fire guy comes back, but it's still not his time. He's gotta go. That's end of Act 1. Act 2. Pippin fails at being king and his dad comes back to life. This all happens within 4 pages. I checked. It is quite literally 4 pages from when Act 2 starts and when Pippin's dad is revived. And you want to know what Pippin's consequences are for killing his dad? None. He suffers no consequences for this. Anyway, Pippin bitches about having not found anything fulfilling yet. And so the leading player sings a sick little ditty with him called The Right Track. And honestly, it's a really good, what's the word? Not, they sing it together. A duet. Oh my god. It's a really good duet. It's such a good duet. It's so cool, and both parts are really cool. Like, either version of the song is really good. But yeah, leading player sings a sick little ditty, The Right Track. Pippin's like, alright, I'm on the right track. Don't know what that track is, but I'm on the right one. Meet Catherine. Honestly, probably the best person in this show. We'll find out more later. She has a son named Theo who has a little duck named Otto. And so, hang on. I'll elaborate a bit more. Catherine finds Pippin on the side of the road and then takes him to her house. And she's like, I'll take care of you, but now you gotta help, like, take care of our house. You gotta kind of do your share. And Pippin bitches about doing yard work, because he's like, I'm too good for this. Like, I'm meant to do super cool things, and this doesn't excite me. Sorry, lol. L, cry about it. But Theo is sad, because his duck is sick, and asks Pippin to help. So, they sing a little ditty called a Prayer for the Duck, and then the duck dies. He is dead. Otto is dead. Rest in peace, my dude. But yeah. Pippin and Theo bond over the death of the duck, which somehow leads to Pippin and Catherine having sex. Or attempting it. Pippin and Catherine fail the sex QTEs. It does not go well. But maybe they'll give it another shot some other time. Time skip. So, we skip to a year later, and Catherine wants to celebrate the anniversary of Pippin's arrival, because it's been 1 year, and she wants Pippin to sit at the head of the table as kind of like the head of their new little family. Theo has a new father figure, because, I forgot to mention, Catherine's a widow. Her husband died, like, years ago, I think, from illness, and now they're like, oh, I have a new lover. Theo has, like, a new father figure. Like, things are great. And then Pippin runs. He's like, he nopes the fuck out of there. But don't worry. Luckily for Pippin, leading player may have found his purpose. The finale. So, this is how the finale works. See, you got Pippin here. Got Pippin right there. And what they're gonna have Pippin do, is they're gonna have him go up a ladder. Gonna go up the ladder. Gonna go up the ladder, and he's gonna he's gonna get on this. He's gonna get up on this little diving board right here, and then he's going to jump into a barrel of fire that they keep calling the sun. They want him to go into a blaze of glory by jumping into the sun. They want him to jump into the sun because it is their most perfect act. They want him to jump into the sun. Anyway, Catherine comes to save the day with Theo, and they try to convince him to like stop, and then but the players are like trying to convince him like, come on, Pippin, do it. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, bitch. Do it, bitch. You won't. Do it, you won't. And Pippin says, yeah, you're right, I won't. Don't make me. Peer pressure sucks. Fuck you. And so Pippin decides not to do it. The leading player did not like that. So the leading player gets angry and takes all the stage elements away. No costumes, no makeup, no wigs, no scenery, no colored lights, no magic. None of it. Not allowed. Not anymore. Nuh-uh. No, not allowed. And so, Pippin, Catherine, and Theo have to learn to live and become a family without all the magic and lights of the leading player and the troupe. Or that's what you would think. See, there are two versions of the ending that go beyond this point. Because that isn't exactly. So, one of them sucks, though. Ending 1. Pippin, Theo, Catherine alone on the dark stage, and Catherine asks how Pippin feels. So this is basically where that left off. And this is what the original ending of the show was. So Catherine asks him a few questions, how he feels, and then she says, well, then how do you feel? Like, do you feel like you're compromised? Do you feel like you're a coward? Pippin says no to those things. She asks this. And he responds, trapped. Which isn't too bad for the end of a musical comedy. Cringe. Cringe. Bozo. This ending sucks. I don't like it. It's cringe, and there are feelings I have about this show. I will elaborate on more later. Oh yeah, finale is where the fire finally came in. By the way, but yeah. Ending 2, the good one, the cool one. Same stuff happens. Pippin, Theo, Catherine left alone on a bare stage, except Theo is left behind. Catherine and Pippin leave, trying to like kind of rekindle and like make their relationship, and they forget Theo. Theo just stays behind for some reason, and he starts singing the pre-chorus of Corner of the Sky. And then, and then, the return of the menacing blackout. The end.